All right, this is Joe at Pecan Lane. I think today is Tuesday, May 29th, maybe 30th. I want to talk about my particular sprayer here. You see who I bought it from. This is a 100-gallon Air Blast sprayer. It's got markings, might be tough to tell. That's 100 and that says 110 up and down the side of the tank here. So this is a PTO driven sprayer. It runs a belt which runs a fan here. So this fan sucks in air here and sends the spray out the side. This is pretty important here. This is a filter, and I try and at minimum change that out at the end of the season, best off in between sprays. You see here we've got hydraulics. Those hydraulics are connected to that lever right there, and what that does is it changes the angle of where you're spraying. Most of my spray I try and direct at the top of the trees, and I'll do a faster pass to get a little bit more on the bottom. So most of the time I'm going to have this angled up about right here, and I have that mirror set so I can a little bit see the direction of blast. The ease of which is based upon sunlight where you're at. I do not put any dye in, but I imagine you could put a couple drops of dye in if nothing you're spraying is dark. So I'm focusing on spraying towards the top. I've had one problem with this. This is a very, the hydraulics move very forcefully, and I once didn't catch that they weren't moving. They reached their limit, and I broke this bolt once. This is kind of a specialty product to get a pin through there, and gratefully I had a neighbor farmer help drill that out for me, and I was able to replace one of those. There is I think they call it a solenoid valve in here with a pressure control that you dial in here. And I've got an electrical connection for an on-off switch in the tractor. One thing I've noticed, where I sit in the tractor, that on-off switch is kind of back and behind where I sit. And so I think it would be easier if you could, if you have yet to get one of these, try and have a valve, a switch that you can hold, that spraying for hours on end, reaching back over your right shoulder gets to be a little bit uncomfortable. But this works very well for me. The way that I spray, I don't spray everything. I don't run up and down rows with the sprayer running. I spray just on my, for the most part, my adult trees. And for as many trees as I've got, despite it not being on an acre, I figure I mix up chemicals as if I was spraying on an acre. Sorry. So as if I were spraying on an acre of land, but just put it directly on the trees. So for about 30 producing trees, that by my math, that seems to be pretty good, and seems to be, I have reasonable scab control that I'm happy with. So tomorrow I'll probably put out some kind of a antifungal, and I'm going to spray for pecan nut case bearer. And then when I get around to my nursery, I'll add in some nickel. Not sure if I'll do some micronutrients or not yet. And then I add in a little bit of a sticker or some kind of adjuvant that helps everything work. So the basics of this sprayer are: you put in water, you read the label for how to mix, whether you need to dilute outside the tank or if there's a certain order, and put it in and aim most of your spray up in the air, being careful that you reach the stop of the hydraulics, that the hydraulics are not constantly going. It says to do a light grease. Now I did have a problem with my tank getting a little bit loose, and I broke off this piece here, probably from things being able to wiggle around a bit in a pretty tight space. And there are directions on here. Frequently inspect and tighten all straps. And I had never tightened my straps, and they were significantly loose. So don't do what I did. Go ahead and read the directions, and maybe you'll save some broken labels. So this sprayer is ideal for a small orchard or a starting orchard, maybe just young trees. I think they cost about $5,000. Most people selling nuts, like on Facebook or local, they're not able to control disease the way someone who might spray does. And so the quality of their nuts tends to be a little bit lower. Moving up from here, you might need a bigger tractor, and it's a significant, probably 3 times as great investment for sprayer. But this is quite adequate for me at my stage, and so I hope this helps you understand what's involved with what for me is a 100-gallon PTO-driven electric valve pecan sprayer. Thank you.